First, hello, I'm John Bachman. The final result of the Sydney hostage standoff remains unclear, but some reports say the gunman and at least one other person are dead. Several others have been injured. The whole situation playing out in a downtown cafe there. The tense standoff ending about an hour ago after lasting about 16 hours. As many as a dozen people were held captive at one point, and right before it ended, several people suddenly started running from the cafe. Soon after, heavily armed police moved in. And as we are telling you right now, several people are hurt, but it's unclear exactly how many. There are some reports, again, that 2 people are dead. Late this morning, police identified the gunman as this man, Manharan Moniz, an Iranian refugee who had been living in Australia. 2 years ago, he was convicted of sending hate mail to families of 8 Australian soldiers killed in Afghanistan. And last year, he was charged in connection with the murder of his ex-wife. It's not clear what prompted this hostage situation, but Moniz had demanded an ISIS flag and wanted to speak with the Prime Minister of Australia. Police in the suburbs of Philadelphia are apparently in a standoff with a man there as well after a series of early morning shootings. That man apparently barricaded himself inside this house in Souderton, just outside of Philly. This comes after 5 people were murdered across 3 towns. Police are not yet confirming if all those killings are connected. Schools in the area are being locked down. Kids are being kept inside. And families of some of the victims of the massacre in Newtown, Connecticut are now suing. 9 families are going to court 2 years and 1 day after the attack at Sandy Hook Elementary that left 12 children and 6 adults dead. The families are suing the maker of the rifle used in that attack, Bushmaster, as well as the gun's distributor and the shop where that weapon was sold. Former Vice President Dick Cheney continues his full-throated defense of the CIA and their interrogation techniques used after 9/11. This was him yesterday on NBC's Meet the Press.
There's this notion that somehow there's moral equivalence between what the terrorists did and what we do, and that's absolutely not true. We were very careful to stop short of torture.
Well, he also says, in his words, he would do it again in a minute, and says the real torture was what al-Qaeda did to 3,000 Americans and their families on September 11th. And for the first time ever, all of the countries of the world, all of them, have agreed to cut down carbon emissions. The deal comes after a marathon negotiating session at a UN conference in Peru. It calls for every country to set its own emission limits, but it does not include a way to enforce those limits. Meantime, in Iceland, a brutal blizzard, so don't complain about the weather where you are. This is 100-mile-per-hour winds shrieking across a highway just outside of Reykjavik. Combine that with sub-zero temperatures. Local meteorologists call this low-pressure system, what else? A weather bomb. And now you can count the number of the world's white rhinos on just one hand. Zookeepers in San Diego had confirmed that the northern white rhino living there passed away. There are now only 5 known white rhinos living on the planet. Another update coming up for you in 30 minutes.